We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Good evening, everybody. We have done it. We have reached the night before the NFL draft for 2023. No shortage of intrigue and subterfuge and smoke screens and all around bullshit going around the league right now, of course. Little bit of an abbreviated episode tonight, probably. We'll hit a few news things quick, and then Lance and I will do our annual first round mock draft.
Our one and only draft that we do in this part
of
the internet community.
Yes. We'll go at least up to where the Vikings pick, depending upon
what
the rules
happen.
Yeah, we will not trade up in this mock draft, but we do reserve the right to trade back if the board looks like it could be. We won't trade out of the first round, but we'll see when we get there, see what's going on. So, but there's a couple of news items we want to hit here first, and then we'll get into the mock here in a little bit. Big news came out last Friday. 5 players were suspended for violating the league's policy on gambling. 3 of them got hit very hard. Quintez Cephas and DJ Moore Quintez Cephas and CJ Moore from the Lions, and Shaka Toney from the Washington Commies. No, not Shaka Khan, Shaka Toney.
Oh, okay. His brother.
Yeah.
Or cousin.
Cousin to Shaka Nah.
Shakaka?
Yeah, something like that. But they were they were suspended indefinitely for betting on NFL games. So this is similar to the Calvin Ridley thing from last year. You'd have thought
years and years ago.
Yeah, you'd have thought that these guys would have realized that it was a bad idea after Ridley got suspended for a season because of it.
It's that young brain still.
Mm-hmm. But on top of those 3 being suspended for at least 1 year, which if it follows the precedent set by Ridley, it'll be a year. 2 others for the Lions, wide receiver Jameson Williams and then Stanley Berryhill III, both suspended for 6 games.
That sounds like a little slap on the wrist compared to the other 3.
Well, the difference was, from what I ascertained from doing a little research on this, is the reason the first 3 got an indefinite, at least 1 year suspension, was because they bet on NFL games. Now, Williams and Berryhill did not bet on NFL games. They bet on other games, but they placed the bets from a team facility.
Oh.
So kind of like looking at porn at work, you get in trouble. You get caught doing that, you get in trouble now. There's also was talk, I was reading through Pro Football Talk and a few other places we're talking about this, that there has been multiple team not necessarily coaches, but people who work for the team or the league that have gotten fired because of this too, that we haven't been made aware of, I guess. But It just says that there have been multiple. So,
Be like a year and a half then, other than Williams' catch against us for a touchdown, that he'll even see the field.
yeah, Jameson Williams had one catch last year, and that was that 42-yard touchdown or whatever it was against us. But
Whatever.
Yeah, and this gambling thing is, I understand them not wanting to be, not allowing them to bet on NFL games. I mean, that is a conflict of interest potentially.
Yeah.
But if the NFL is going to start partnering with places like DraftKings and things like that,
they're treading a fine line.
Yeah, they are. They're doing that tightrope walk on the razor edge kind of thing. But
what's okay, what's not okay? You show this, I show that, and I get trouble, and that doesn't make sense.
It gets to the point of the definition of what is.
Right.
So anyway, that is a little bit interesting and a very heavy blow for the Lions, who lose two guys for an entire year. I mean, both are starters. And then Jameson Williams, projected to be a starter again. He'll be gone for the first third of the season. So the Lions are going to lion, I guess.
There's personnel got fired as well. Some of the staff did.
Yeah, there again, they didn't divulge who that was, or if it was only if it was from the Lions or who it was from. But there have been people let go because of the gambling thing, the way it sounds. So, but anyway, few nuggets of mock draftness here before we actually start the draft. As of Sunday morning, Will Levis is now the betting favorite to go number 2 overall.
Wow.
A week ago, he was falling into the teens.
That's the draft, though, for you, man. Anything happened the day before or the day of, I mean, you just never know.
Yeah,
but
I mean, up until now, it's been pretty much a foregone conclusion that C.J. Stroud was going to go second to the Texans.
It has, but you know what? Levis has been all around. Out in the first, dropping down to the second, back up into the first. Now he's going number 2. That's crazy. Yeah. Levis has just been on a trip, and the draft hasn't even started yet.
Right. Of course, this kind of sounds a little bit like Malik Willis last year. He was up, he was down, he was going to go 3rd overall to the Lions.
He was way down, man.
Then he fell. Yeah, he didn't get taken until the 3rd round or whatever it was.
Embarrassing. It was embarrassing for him, I would imagine, because he was in the green room.
Yeah, so that's. I don't know that I buy it. Vegas obviously buys it, but it sounds.
Levis does Houston then, huh?
Yeah, it sounds like Houston is not, or the smoke screens are that Houston's not all that in on CJ Stroud, which there again, is that a smoke screen? Is that, it's according to what I was reading here this morning, we're recording on Sunday, but it sounds like the subterfuge and smoke screens are saying that several teams are cooling on their opinions of CJ Stroud.
Well, if our opinions of him have been cooled since the get-go.
Yeah, I mean, I've had my concerns with him from the get-go.
Right, both of us have.
Right,
but he's just been the consensus number 2 guy. I mean, in my brain, I was always in the intention or the thought that it was going to be Young and Stroud.
Yeah.
1 and 2.
Yeah, and now with that, there's considerable talk about the Texans either going with a defensive player at number 2, like Tyree Williams or Wilson maybe, or they have been receiving calls about trading out of the number 2 spot. So now, if Houston does not take it stays pat at 2 and does not take a quarterback, that's going to basically open up Pandora's box when it comes to the next part of the draft, because everybody figured you'd have one of the top 4 quarterback, or at least 2 of the top 4 quarterbacks would be gone. Still, I don't know that I buy the smoke screens yet, but there's potential that but the only one that could be gone by pick 3 is Bryce Young.
And here for a minute there, we thought there might be 4 taken in the top 10.
I mean, I've seen it where there's been 4 taken in the top 5.
Right.
You know, now if the Texans don't take CJ Stroud, I think he probably goes to Indianapolis at 4
unless he just takes unless he just starts falling.
Yeah. Now with Indy, you know, Anthony Richardson fits the mold of a Jalen Hurts, which Shane Steichen, the new head coach, of course, was the offensive coordinator in Philly with Jalen Hurts. So I could see that being a target for them. But as we've talked about multiple times, as much as we like Anthony Richardson, none of us think he's ready to start this year.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. He's going to need to sit for a year.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not going to need to, but the best bet is to sit him for a year behind a veteran.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, you got the Cardinals that have received multiple calls about trading out of the 3rd pick. Allegedly, Minnesota has even called up to talk to Arizona about trading up to 3.
He's been one of 3 teams that have been named. So,
right.
Also, you know, just because they would say Richardson would have to start in Indy, that doesn't mean that Indy won't go out and get a veteran.
Well, they got Gardner Minshew. He's on. They picked him up, and so he would probably be the bridge starter, I guess.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Well, let's see what we think that we're going to do here as we will roll into the 3rd annual Vikings Uncensored mock draft. So we pop up our little screen here. And I'm going to put mine over here on the side. So again, what we're going to do is we'll go through, we'll round robin style it. Lance will start, I'll go second, yada, yada, yada. We will not let the Vikings trade up. Although I know a lot of people don't want to. I still think it's a legitimate possibility that we might.
I agree with the state of Kwesi and KOC and their leader and their run of the show here in Minnesota. Who's to say they won't trade up to get their guy?
Yeah.
So that's what my thought is here.
Yeah, but for the purposes,
they're going to do what they're going to do to get to fulfill that plan.
Absolutely. I agree with that 100%. So, without further ado, we will roll into it. Brunswick, you are on the clock for the Carolina Panthers at pick 1. Who are you going?
That's right. The Panthers traded up to 1, didn't they?
Yep.
That's right. Well, you got to go with Bryce Young here. That's the guy that's basically is set in stone to go to Carolina. And
yeah,
great quarterback, probably the best quarterback coming out this year.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, he's pretty much carved in stone there at number 1. Carolina went up to number 1 for a reason, and that's why they went up to number 1 was to get Bryce Young.
Yeah. So with that, the Houston Texans are on the clock. Now, you know, we talked about this at quite a bit earlier. Are they out on CJ Stroud? I don't know. I find it hard to believe that this guy's been talked about as either 1 or
since draft talk started.
Yeah, he's been 1 or 2 the entire time. I think it's a smokescreen, to be honest with you, because if they don't take a quarterback here, there's a potential
they don't quarterback.
Yeah,
if they don't take a quarterback here, they're looking at hookers, my opinion.
Yeah, and they would potentially have to take Hooker at pick 12 or whatever it is where they pick next, and that's too high for Hooker, and Hooker's not going to be ready to start.
Right.
Now, I mean, are they? And I can't see him being confident going into the season again with Davis Mills as their starter. So I'm going to say
somebody, but yeah, even then,
I am going to say that it's a smokescreen. And
you go CJ Stroud.
I'm going CJ Stroud.
Might as well. I mean, that's just consensus since the beginning of the draft talk. Mm-hmm. So why not? Number 3, Arizona, huh?
Arizona on the clock.
You have to go. I'm gonna have to go edge here, man.
Okay, your top edge guy is Will Anderson or Tyree Wilson, one of the two.
Got to go Anderson here, I would imagine. Yeah,
I would think he would be the pick.
Too, but Alabama, the pedigree, you got to go with Anderson here, in my opinion.
Okay. Next on the clock, Indianapolis Colts. Again, desperately in need of quarterback.
Levis has been tied there, man.
He has been. I've heard they like Levis. Peyton Manning came out earlier this weekend or past weekend giving a glowing review of Will Levis.
Wow.
So do they go there or do they swing for the fence on Anthony Richardson?
You're GMing right now. You're the Irsay over there.
If I'm Irsay, I should be drunk right now, which I'm not. But
yeah, smoking a cigar.
Yeah. I mean, they want a quarterback that's going to start right away. Levis is probably more likely to be able to start right away, although I don't think he should either.
I honestly think Richardson might be the guy that falls a little bit this year. I don't know if he gets out of the top 10, but I think he's the one that's going to be the odd man out that fall. Not down in the second round or anything like that, but
no,
he might tumble a little bit.
Yeah. So, I mean, with the fact that the Colts need somebody who can probably start right away,
I would go with Levis. Yeah,
I'm gonna put Levis here. I don't think I think that's too high for him, but we're gonna go with it anyway. So Lance, you're back.
Now, not if people are talking about him being at number 2. That ain't too high, apparently.
Yeah, maybe. All right, Lance, you're back on the clock for Seattle at pick 5. Or sorry, pick 5. They need edge rusher. They need wide receiver, cornerback, linebacker.
I was gonna say, yeah, probably wide out. If we're going wide out here, you almost gotta. Yeah, go with Njigba.
Smith and Jigba is the highest on the board.
Yep.
You gonna go there?
Yep. Pair him up with DK.
Wide receiver at 5. That's a lot higher than I've seen, but you're the GM.
Well, hold on here.
I don't want to talk you out of your pick. I'm just saying.
I would go. I mean,
you got Tyree Wilson sitting there at the edge
Wilson there too. Yeah, I would go. Let's go with Wilson actually here.
Okay.
Coming off the edge.
All right. I got the Motor City Kitties at pick 6. They need cornerback help in the worst way. They need edge, possibly quarterback, wide receivers. They just traded what's his name here last week.
You're on the right wavelength mind wise.
Yep. I think they take the best cornerback off the board here with Christian Gonzalez.
Las Vegas Raiders.
They need quarterback. They need offensive tackle. They need edge.
For sure. I think we're going to see our first offensive lineman come off the board here. I mean, but you know what? This is the Raiders. Who fucking knows what their pick's going to be? It could be no-name Sally with a 4.2 speed from Bologna Tech. Who knows?
Yeah, or they could take Richardson and sit him behind Jimmy G, too.
That would be ideal right here for this pick as well. But that line is pretty atrocious there in Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm. Your top offensive tackles on the board are Paris Johnson from Ohio State and Peter Skoronski from Northwestern.
Let's go with Paris Johnson here.
Okay.
I mean, it could easily be Richardson, but that line is just so bad.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Atlanta Falcons on the clock at pick 8. It could very well be. They need edge. They need defensive line. I've heard a lot the last few days, and I kind of think this is probably a good idea for them. If they're going to roll with Desmond Ridder this year especially,
right?
They need to get him some stuff to take a little pressure off, and I think Bijan Robinson could go here. I've seen him linked to Atlanta three times
He's
this
a
week.
hell of a
So
running back. He's one of the better running backs to come out in a long time.
yep. So I think I'm going to give him Bijan Robinson.
Okay.
Okay, you're on the board. Pick 9 for Chicago.
This is where the receiver comes off the board. You
think so? Even after getting DJ Moore and.
Well, yeah, that's right. I guess I didn't take that into account.
I mean, their team needs again
tackle help,
offensive tackle, edge rusher, cornerback. They need pretty much everything. So the only thing that
their needs is quite deep.
The only thing they wouldn't take here is a quarterback, probably.
Their receiver unit is so shitty, though. It seemed like they like you said, though they picked up DJ Moore, but he's still a question.
You still got Chase Clay. They got Chase Claypool last year. They got
That's right.
You know, is their wide receiver unit shitty, or is it just because Justin Fields can't get the ball to him?
God, they could easily go. I mean, they could go Carter here.
Their offensive line is atrocious. I mean, you got Skoronski sitting there. You've got Jalen Carter, who's doing a bit of a free fall.
Running back, well, the best running back just went, so that's off the board then.
Yeah, the next one is.
And I don't think there's any running back that's going to be going in the first other than Bijan Robinson.
Yeah, there's a kid out of Alabama that might go late round, but it's too early for him, I think.
I would either go receiver or offensive line or even edge here.
Your best edge is Van Ness. Your best offensive tackle is Skoronski from Northwestern, who I've seen mock to Chicago quite a bit.
Yep.
Where you've got Jalen Carter,
who's still sitting there.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go with the Skoronski.
All right. Okay, Eagles are now on the clock. They need edge. They need cornerback. They need safety. They need interior offensive line.
Safety? They just re-signed Slay.
Yeah, Slay's a cornerback though, but
yeah, that's right.
I think they need. I mean, if they want extra quarterback help, especially with Slay only being signed for a year,
Witherspoon, that would make sense.
I think we'll go Witherspoon here. Okay, Tennessee on the clock.
I mean, if they wanted to, they could go quarterback here too. I mean, Malik Willis isn't. You didn't go first round on him last year. He was a mid-round quarterback, so I mean, you could go quarterback here again.
Yeah, I mean, they still have Tannehill, but I think he's there for this year, and that's about it.
I don't think he's happy at this point, to be honest with you.
And I don't know that they're happy with him either. I mean, it's
right.
It's kind of a Kirk Cousins situation in Tennessee with Tannehill.
Maybe this is where the first spot where a receiver comes off the board. Because they are very particularly thin there in Tennessee at receiver. That's for sure.
They are. So your top receiver right now is Smith and Jigba.
Right. Now, you know what? The last 2 picks I've been saying in Jigba. So you know what? Let's get him off the board.
Okay.
I think he goes top 15 at least.
Okay, so he goes here.
Yep.
Now back on the board again. I get the second pick with Houston.
Carter.
They need edge rush. They need, if Njigba would have been here, I think I would have taken him here, paired him back up with Stroud again. But I think they're going to, you've got 3 very good edge rushers sitting on the board here. You've got Van Ness, you got Murphy, and you got Nolan Smith. Jalen Carter is still there.
Right.
They're not going to take Anthony Richardson, being they took Stroud earlier. They need cornerback. Joey Porter's still sitting there. I'm going to go with the next highest on their board with an edge. And I am going to give them.
Nice.
I like Miles Murphy out of Clemson a little bit better than Van Ness. So I'm going to go Miles Murphy here.
Good pick. Okay,
the Jets are back on the board. They need
offensive quarterback to put behind Rodgers.
No, they need offensive line help big time especially if they're going to protect Rodgers.
They could use Jalen Carter.
Yep.
Let's get rid of Carter. Let's get Carter out of here. This would be that spot where he's going to fall.
All right.
I can see Sala going after Carter.
I think Broderick Jones would have been a good option there too. That he's the next highest offensive tackle on the board. But all right, New England on the board at 14. They need cornerback. They need wide receiver. They need safety. They need interior offensive line. A little bit of everything. So Njigba is gone. They could take Quentin Johnston here.
Right.
But with the cornerback being highest list on their team needs here, I'm going to go Joey Porter Jr.
Okay.
Especially since they need to replace Juwan Williams since we just took him. So
Juwan?
Yeah.
Now this is scary because I could see Green Bay giving us the fudge here and going and getting Richardson.
I don't know that they're going to do that.
Because if they've invested in Jordan Love, they want to see what they got in Love.
Yeah.
That's true.
But they need tight end, they need edge, they need defensive line help. You still got two of the top three edge guys left on the board there.
I was going to say Van Ness looks pretty appealing to me.
You going Van Ness?
Pretty appealing too. I'm almost higher on Smith than what I am Van Ness, to be honest.
I think I am too.
Let's go with Nolan Smith here to Green Bay.
Okay. Okay, then I am up at pick 16 with the Commies. They need cornerback. They need interior offensive line. They need linebacker, running back, edge, a little bit of everything.
Did they go after a quarterback in the free agency?
No, they claim they're rolling with Sam Howell.
How could quarterback not be a need for this team?
It is. It's just down the list.
It is, but it's down low. I see that.
Yeah. I think this would be, if Anthony Richardson somehow falls this far, that's a prime trade spot to go up.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think he's going to fall this far. I think somebody's going to trade up earlier than this and take him, but Commanders, who is the highest cornerback?
If he falls this far, there's a good chance he could fall to us. But like you said, there's going to be people.
If he falls this far, there's no way I'm taking that risk. I'm moving up here and doing it.
Yeah.
Cornerback is their highest on the board. Interior offensive line, we haven't gotten to. We haven't gotten to that point yet. Since cornerback is showing his highest, let's go and give them Deonte Banks here. Pittsburgh on the board. They need cornerback. They need defensive line. They need linebacker. They need wide receiver. They need tight end.
I could see him going Smith here, but we already got rid of Smith, so there's Van Ness.
Edge, I don't know, is a huge need for him.
What's that?
I don't know how huge of a need edge is for him. I mean, they got Watt and some of that stuff, but
yeah.
The highest cornerbacks are gone right now.
I could see Branch going here, to be honest with you. But let's go.
You got Quentin Johnston and Jordan Addison here sitting at wide receiver if they want wide receiver help, which is fourth on their list.
Yeah, let's plug in Johnston there, but I don't know. A part of me wants to put Branch there because I know Pittsburgh likes that versatility on defense.
You want Johnston or you want Branch?
Let's go with Johnston.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Detroit back on the clock at pick 18.
Receiver.
They need another edge rusher. Quarterback is fairly high on their list. I mean, at this point, they could take a swing at Anthony Richardson if he's miraculously still here. Like I said, I don't think he's going to be, but this is the weird thing about this. Not without doing any.
Right through us to 23 because there ain't nobody ahead of us that needs a quarterback.
Oh no, there is.
Tampa.
I don't think he would get past Tampa. He's not going to get this far, but like I said, when we're not allowing trades, players that will most likely be gone way higher than this are falling down the board just because we're not allowing trade ups. So, but I think here, unfortunately, Detroit's going to buff up on defense again, put a guy
wow, yeah,
on the other side of Aiden Hutchinson. I think they're going to go Lucas Van Ness here.
Holy shit.
Okay, Tampa's on the clock.
Might as well go with Richardson here, get him off the board. I could see Tampa going after him. That's the best quarterback that's left available.
I think if one any of the,
did you give Levis to Indy?
Yeah. If any of the 4 quarterbacks are here, I think Tampa takes them because right now they got Kyle Trask and Baker Mayfield are their quarterback options.
Right. Yep. They're going quarterback here, and the best one available is Richardson. So, yeah.
Okay. Seattle in need of
receiver.
Wide receivers next highest on their board. I could see Jordan Addison. Jordan Addison's the highest one here, but
Zay Flowers fits their type though.
That's what I was just going to say. Pete Carroll likes those streaky, fast, gadgety, different guys.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to go wide receiver, and I think they're going to go Zay Flowers here. Los Angeles Superchargers on the clock. They need wide receiver. They need running back. They need edge. They need offensive line.
I like their needs because their needs aren't. That's a good board for Los Angeles, in my opinion.
It absolutely is. I mean, you've got 2 offensive tackles sitting right there. You've got a wide receiver. Brian Branch is still sitting here. Michael Meyer.
Not to be confused with the Michael Myers from Halloween.
I think this is actually Mayer, not Meyer, but.
God, Cansey would have been good to go to Pittsburgh too. They were looking at him.
Yeah, he could go that high. I mean,
I think it's too early. Well, yeah, I don't know. I think it's too early here to take the Notre Dame tight end here. Man, this is a good looking board for these guys though.
Mm-hmm.
I could see Brisset going here.
Yeah, one of the offensive tackle, the 2 tackles, Broderick Jones or Darnell Wright, could go here very easily.
Yeah, Jones is sitting there, and this is right where you take him to, right in that sweet spot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's give Herbert some more time back there and let's give him Jones here.
Okay, Baltimore on the clock.
I would look at that number 1 need and go for it. Yeah.
I think so. I mean, they're trying their damnedest to appease Lamar Jackson there to get him to come back. So I think getting him another weapon is going to be paramount. So we'll give him Jordan Addison right here.
Yeah, and here we are.
Vikings are on the clock.
Ideal for us too. And right now, before we even say anything, if Hooker's there and it comes down to this, we're trading back.
And Hooker is still on the board, and we do have that possibility to trade back if we so desire. So you want to pick here, or do you want to move back?
You move back.
All right. So who should we move back with? Let's propose a trade here. So we pick Minnesota. Where are we at? So we have Buffalo. Buffalo is at pick 27. Cincinnati is at 28. Then you've got San Francisco. Well, San Francisco's not picking, so I don't see who they've got at 29. You've got Kansas City at 31. The Eagles at 30.
You could easily trade down to Buffalo and still get Hooker there easily.
So let's do that. Should we try to trade with Buffalo then?
What about who picks after Cincy?
After Cincy, it's whoever has San Francisco's pick. Hold on here. Let's cancel this for a second. We will.
There you go.
Cincinnati, then New Orleans,
so
Philadelphia, Kansas City.
I would probably trade down with Buffalo at this point. Yeah, because they're still guaranteeing you're going to get Hooker there at that pick.
Yeah. So, okay, we'll offer up pick 23. Buffalo offers 27, and you're not going to get a second. Should we try see if we get the third round pick from them?
I would try that. Yeah.
Okay. Looks like that will be accepted. Pulling the trigger.
Yep. That's a good time trade right there.
Yep. Okay. So that puts Buffalo on the clock. They need interior offensive line. Osiris Torrance is sitting there. They need linebacker. They need safety. Brian Branch is there. Defensive line, you've got Kalijah Cansey is sitting there, and Brian Brisset.
Brian Branch here. If you're Buffalo and you got those Hamlin, the question marks with Hamlin at safety. I mean, yeah, he's coming back, but you don't know where he's going to be. And Branch is just that versatile. You don't need to put him at safety. You could move him around on your defense like a J-Ron Curse type of gadget defensive player.
Mm-hmm.
And it's too early to go interior offensive lineman, in my opinion, here.
Yeah, I mean, Torrance is really the only guy that I think that's got a first round grade.
Right. I think, though, at value alone, you go with the Branch pick here.
Okay. Then the Jacksonville Jaguars are now on the clock. They need cornerback. They need offensive tackle. They need tight end.
I look at never mind. This is your pick, but I have an idea of what they would do.
They say running back is up there, but I don't think so.
Not in the first round, no.
No,
they're not eyeballing a first round running back. I guarantee.
No, and Jahmyr Gibbs is the only other one ranked with a first round grade, and I don't think he's going here. I think he goes second round. So probably boils down to all the cornerbacks are gone here. So it boils down to either Darnell Wright or Michael Mayer, the tight end out of Notre Dame. I mean, do they give Spicoli Lawrence a little more time to throw, or do they give him another weapon to throw to?
I think you go with Wright here. Because
who?
I would go with Wright.
That's kind of what I was leaning to. So we'll give them Darnell Wright here. Now the Giants are on the clock.
Now I can see the Giants going tight end.
They need wide receiver. They need cornerback. They need safety. They need defensive line. You got Brisset and Kalijah Cansey are still here. Interior line, Osiris Torrance is there. You've got two tight ends here, Meyer and Kincaid both.
That's why I'd say I would imagine you go tight end here. They would be looking to trade back as well.
Okay. Going Michael Meyer or Kincaid?
I go with Meyer. Kincaid's pretty good, though, too. It's either or, honestly, here with those two.
Yeah. All right. Dallas Cowboys now on the clock. They need a tight end.
Their biggest need.
They need a tight end. They need defensive line. I mean, Cansey's here. Brisset's here. Kincaid. But being tight end is their biggest need. I'm giving them Dalton Kincaid.
Okay.
That puts Minnesota back on the clock.
I mean, we could trade back again with Kansas City here if we wanted to.
Should we try that just for shits and giggles?
Yep.
All right. We will propose a trade.
And Kansas City's going to move up and get a receiver.
No. Yeah, well, there's the receivers are all off the board. That's why I think Kansas City this particular exercise probably makes it a little less likely that Kansas City wants to move up because there aren't
any receivers there with a good value.
Well, here let's look at the receiver board before we offer up that trade.
Okay.
So we got Jalen Hyatt, the next highest at 39. Josh Downs, Cedric Tillman. So,
yeah, you are moving up to what pick? What number pick is this?
This is 27. Let's look at Kansas City's needs here first. They need an edge rusher,
edge and receiver. Okay.
They need receiver, tight end. Tight end, I don't think they need. Cornerback.
Tight end. What the fuck?
Yeah, they don't need tight end. They don't have. They've only got one, but he's very good.
Right, he's enough for two.
Yeah. They could beef up that defensive line. They could go
McDonald.
But I don't think. Like I said, being all the wide receivers are gone off the board, I don't think Kansas City's going to want to move up here.
No.
But
No.
you're Kwesi Adofo-Brunswick, so you make the call. You're going to try to trade back, or you're going to? I mean, we could, if we offer the trade, it'll allow us to trade. It just
right.
I don't know how realistic it is without a wide receiver sitting there.
I know, and right, man, who would we even go right now if we picked?
My personal thought is we didn't go up there and get one of the top 4 quarterbacks, I think they're looking at Hendon Hooker here with a getting a 5th-year option.
I think ideally they would want to get back even further to pick him up to accumulate more picks.
Yeah, so I mean that's where trading back again with Kansas City I think would be ideal. But New Orleans could poach him at 29 also, you know.
That's very true. But then that's not showing the guy that you just got a lot of, you know, you're not. For me being Derek Carr, that wouldn't feel very good if they went and they
that's true
at 30 or 29.
Yeah, so I think they probably would skip at that point. Cincinnati definitely does not need a quarterback. The Eagles don't need a quarterback. Kansas City doesn't need a quarterback.
New Orleans, what's their needs?
Let's see here. They need defensive line, so you've got Kancey and Brisset.
Let's trade back with New Orleans.
Okay. So we'll go Minnesota. We'll go New Orleans. So the Vikings will trade out of pick 27 back to 29. Should we see if we can get
the third rounder?
Third rounder?
Yeah. Nope. Too much?
Yeah. So hold on here.
Let's try their 4th then. We'd get their 4th.
Yep. So we got there and that. They will do that.
I would take it.
Okay. That puts the New Orleans. You know, you keep trading back. You're getting Minnesota every time you do that. You're gonna. Okay. So the Cheatin' Taints are on the board at 27. Defensive line, their top need. Kalijah Kancey and Brian Brisset both still on the board. Who?
Brisset.
Okay. That puts the Cincinnati Bengals on the board. Tight end is
How is offensive line not one of their top needs?
Yeah, you would think. You know, they could go Osiris Torrance sitting here. This says that, you know, tight end is their number 1 need. Darnell Washington sitting there at 33. They could go there.
Their suggestions are Anton Harrison and Darnell Washington.
Yeah. Yeah, the offensive tackle out of but I mean they did pick up. I think they're okay at their tackle spot. I think it'd be more interior if they went anything.
I would go Osiris Torrance right here would be a good pick for the first interior lineman to come off the board.
But they don't have much for tight end either. I think Darnell.
I think they could get Darnell Washington in the 2nd round.
They're not going to because they're picking at the end of the 2nd round.
That's true. That's true.
And Darnell Washington, you know, some of the combine and stuff, he was pretty impressive. So I'm gonna go odd, and it's gonna be 3 tight ends going off the board in round 1. I'm giving them Darnell Washington.
That will never happen, but
it
happened here. And you might as well plug in Hooker here for us.
Yeah, because he pops up as one of the suggested. So with the 29th pick, after trading back twice, the Vikings select Tennessee quarterback Hendon Hooker. And that brings us back to the Eagles, who took Devin Witherspoon first. They still need edge rusher.
Might as well finish out the 1st round.
Yeah, we will. We only got 2 picks here left. They need safety. They need interior offensive line. I think this is probably a good. They're talking running back. Jahmyr Gibbs could go here.
That's true.
Kalijah Kancey could go here.
I'd go with Gibbs.
I was kind of thinking of Cyrus Torrance, but
yeah. Well, I mean, that's the first name that came out of my mouth. The first name that came out of my mouth was Osiris Torrance. Let's go with Torrance.
Or Will McDonald. He's the top edge rusher left on the board, and they need edge as their top. So let's
McDonald or
go.
Torrance?
I'm going to go. Shoot, let's give him Torrance here.
Okay.
Okay.
And then to finish off the first round,
Kansas City Chiefs are on the board. They need edge.
Hyatt, dude. They're going receiver.
All right, we'll take Jalen Hyatt here. And since I forgot to set this to one round only, it's going to keep rolling. But that is our
first
draft.
Round mock.
Minnesota trades back twice in the first round, which I think would make most people happy.
Still land a quarterback.
And still land a quarterback. Now, a lot of people are going to be upset that we took Hooker in the first round, but I think that fifth-year option, especially at the quarterback position, we talked about this, here a couple weeks ago. I think that is
and the fact that O'Connell and Kwesi did their homework. It's been no secret to anybody that Kwesi and the KOC have been doing homework on quarterbacks this offseason.
Absolutely. So we're going to drop this back. We'll go back over here. So, yeah, I mean, personally, myself, I would be good with this draft. We picked up 2 extra draft picks, got a potential quarterback of the future without moving up to get one, and we'll roll. There's guys like now with that extra third, we can look Kayshon Boutte or somebody like that as a wide receiver pick there,
or use it as money to gamble, or use it as currency to move up into the back end of the second round.
Yep. You got linebacker there. Somebody like Demarion Overshone isn't projected in that third round someplace. That's a possibility. Cornerback, we talked about this too.
Or Mizzy Smith there in the second. Be okay looking at.
Yeah. You could get cornerbacks in the third to fourth round that can be decent starters. So that's an option there too. But we're not going to roll into that far of it because we'd be here all day.
Yeah.
But with that is really all we've got for this week. Thank you guys again for showing up and watching every week. We appreciate the hell out of it. Love interacting with you guys. You're out and about. Take us with you, whether it be the video podcasts on YouTube, whether it be the audio casts on all your favorite podcasting channels. Again, thank you, everybody. If you've not done so, smash that subscribe button down below. Like the videos, helps out the metrics a ton. We're seeing more and more growth all the time, and that's thanks to all of you out there. Quick programming note. Of course, this show is coming out on Wednesday. Next week, there will be Vikings Uncensored will be off all of next week. There won't be a Rhinos Rant on Monday, no Brunswick's Best, and no Friday show. Just
what, though? I think we're due for a week off, honestly.
We haven't had a week off for a while now. Unfortunately,
I think we've only taken 1 week off since we started Rhino.
Yeah, a couple maybe, but due to some scheduling conflicts here and travel stuff, I'm going on vacation, and Lance has to work the Friday and both Friday and Saturday. So we thought about doing a live show, but that won't work. So we're going to take all of next week off. We'll come back the following week, start it off with a Rhinos Rant, Brunswick's Best,
and Rhino, you'll hit a little bit on the draft with your rant that week as well.
Yeah, I will. So
that'll be the first that you hear from us since the draft has started or finished. Excuse me.
Right. So again, if you're looking for something to watch draft night other than the your standard muckety mucks on NFL Network or ESPN, go over and check out our buddies over at Minnesota Sports Talk, Purple and Gold for Days. Those guys are doing live shows. They're working on getting some players on and some other things, nice. So that'll be a good show. So check those guys out. And again, we'll be back in 2 weeks with a full slate of shows. With that, why don't you take us home, Lance?
It is the week of draft week. And tomorrow we find out who we finally get, and I'm excited. I know you guys are all excited. With that being said, we'll see you in 2 weeks on Friday. Who fucking knows? 2 weeks.
13th. Friday. Is it the 13th?
Oh, who knows? That's scary.
I don't know.
That's scary.
A week. We'll be back
on Fridays.
Yep. So
Cool.
see you guys.